This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's 5 o'clock here on your Tuesday. Good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. Here's what's making headlines on this June 30th. Police are investigating after a 14-year-old was killed trying to rob someone on the popular Canal walk downtown. This morning, how people who live there feel about their safety. Some IMPD officers are now facing a lawsuit for excessive use of force. What one of the women involved in this incident say happened during her arrest. With COVID-19 restrictions, restaurants on Mass Ave have been able to take advantage of street space for outdoor seating. Working for you, we're checking in to see if the changes have had a positive impact on business. But first, we do need to get a check of your Storm Team 6 forecast. Todd Kloster is standing by from home. And Todd, many people may have been woken up overnight due to the thunder. We know we're still seeing some lightning out there and rain. What can people expect?
Yeah, I was one of those people, Lauren, in downtown Indianapolis with the thunder rocking and rolling here through downtown. That same storm's now kind of made its way up to the north, as you see on Storm Team 6 radar. Nothing severe. That is the good news. But obviously, lightning can cause some issues and is very dangerous. And we've had some flood advisories issued for over a couple inches of rain in spots in a short period of time. The heaviest of the rain with some lightning now stretches just north of downtown Carmel. It's more of an issue from Noblesville straight up State Road 19 there into the Cicero area and Morse Reservoir, and then it really continues just a little bit further north as you work your way into Tipton County as well. We lose the lightning, but pockets of heavier rain over towards Frankfort, Colfax, and down into the Lebanon area. Some lighter showers from Martinsville down into Edinburgh. But what's interesting is I was looking at this satellite radar picture. These storms here are moving down to the south. This storm up in Hamilton County, that is moving to the north, so they're going in opposite directions. We just had what we call an upper area of low pressure on top of us, and that's spinning, just causing these storms to go in multiple directions. So as we work our way throughout the day today, more of the same, just scattered showers and storms. We'll time them out for you using TrueCast, Lauren, coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. Here's a look right now at traffic as you're heading out on the roads. Keep in mind we have wet roads out there, so you could have some ponding and issues for your commute. Here is a police officer working what looks like some sort of crash or slide up on the north side. This is at I-465 and Keystone Avenue. Not slowing down traffic too much this morning. Traffic's still pretty light there on the north side. New from overnight, the latest act of violence in the Circle City. A man was taken to the hospital after a shooting on Indy's east side. This happened around 1 o'clock this morning. The victim told police he was walking along 10th Street near Grant Avenue when a vehicle drove by and shot him. He was listed in serious but stable condition. Police have not released any suspect information at this time. We're learning more about a deadly shooting that we first brought you as breaking news on Good Morning Indiana yesterday. A 14-year-old was killed after he tried to rob someone on the Canal walk at 2 a.m. Monday. The shooter told police they fired in self-defense. This morning, we're focusing on safety in the area where this all happened. Our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live this morning. And Kelsey, one resident there tells us that the canal isn't so safe once the sun sets.
Yeah, that's right, Lauren. She tells us that she lives here. She's lived here for a few months near the canal, off the canal, and she does spend most of her days walking with her family on the canal. But she says as soon as that sun sets, she stays inside. That violence proving to be true last night in the early morning hours when a 14-year-old Curtis White was shot and killed. Police say the teen tried to rob someone, and that person shot White in self-defense. The alleged shooter, along with the witnesses, are giving police information to help them get a better understanding of what happened. And Taylor Goen says incidents like this make her nervous.
When it's dark, we don't stay outside, which is unfortunate because the canal has some really pretty places, where you can be outside at night, but it's just not safe.
We did ask Metro Police how often they are called to violence on the canal. We have not heard back on those numbers just yet, but of course we will update you as soon as we know more. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. It is 5:04. Two women have filed an excessive force lawsuit against 4 unnamed IMPD officers after their arrest at a protest last month. That incident was caught on camera and it later went viral. Ivory Westfield and Rachel Harding were arrested back on May 31st for violating the city's city's curfew. The lawsuit says the officer arresting Westfield forced her arms into an unnatural position, causing her pain. When she pulled away, she was shot with pepper balls and hit with batons. Harding tried to intervene, but was pushed down by another officer. We do not have video, but RTV6 talked to Harding earlier this month, describing what happened.
She told the officers multiple times that she was sorry. You can hear her in the video. She can't breathe. She's apologetic. She's telling them that she has defecated on herself. She's urinated on herself because of the amount of force that she was met with.
IMPD Chief Breonna Taylor says an internal investigation is underway. City Office Corporation Counsel says that they will not comment on pending litigation. And a reminder, on Thursday, RTV6, along with our partners at Radio 1, will air a virtual town hall called A Conversation on Race, connecting Central Indiana. The panelists will discuss where we are right now, how we can move forward, and how to deal with interactions with law enforcement. This will air from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on RTV6 and on our digital platforms. We continue to follow the latest on the COVID-19 outbreak here in the state of Indiana. The state has now surpassed 45,000 total cases since the pandemic began. The State Department of Health has reported 312 new cases and 5 new deaths. 2,432 Hoosiers have died so far from this virus. More than 1,100 of those deaths have been in nursing homes. 476,000 people have been tested for the virus so far. Well, areas of Mass Avenue have been closed to traffic for just over a month now, and city leaders tell us they've received some positive feedback about the closure from restaurant owners and residents who are enjoying the pedestrian-friendly setup. So we wanted to know, is the street closure something that could be a permanent setup? Our Alyssa Donovan explains.
The closure has been great for some business owners, specifically restaurant owners, who have been able to spread their seating out into the streets. But for others, it's actually added to the struggle that started with the pandemic.
Initially, there was quite a bit of an uproar.
But city leaders say that's changed.
The vast majority of communications that I've gotten has been positive, overwhelmingly positive. In fact, many people say, can we just leave it this way?
It was a game changer. Tracy Robertson has owned Mass Ave Pub for almost 20 years.
This has been one of our biggest challenges as a small business owner.
Prior to the street closure, the pub was just offering carry-out. Since adding the outdoor seating, Robertson says sales have tripled.
We're not where we were pre-COVID. We're still doing much better than before.
But she knows eliminating traffic and parking has not been as positive for some of her neighbors on the avenue. The shelves of Amy Minnick Peterson's store, Decorate, have stayed pretty well stocked during the street closure.
It's been a little bit difficult for our customers because we do sell bigger items. And so when people come in, they don't exactly want to walk a huge distance to carry out a carpet, a rug, a lamp.
Peterson depends on the parking spots outside of her shop to load in home decor pieces for her clients, like tables, mirrors, chairs. The closure of the avenue to traffic has also made it more of a hassle for her customers to come to the store at all.
As much as we think it's been great for the time period that we're in, we also are looking forward to having our parking back.
Concerns for business owners like Peterson are why city leaders and other owners along Mass Ave feel it's too soon to say if the street closure is something that could stick around.
Possibility has been floated around to doing this full time. It's been floated that we do it just during the summer. It's been floated that we do it just on weekends. When we're not faced with a global pandemic, we'll be able to have very long, engaged conversations with not just city people, but with community people, with merchants.
I think that it's worth talking about.
But for now, conversations about keeping Mass Ave a pedestrian thoroughfare are going to remain just that, conversations. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. The time is 5:09, and as Indiana looks to continue reopening, the final stage, Stage 5, is set to begin on Saturday. That's when retailers, restaurants, bars, clubs, salons, barbershops, and similar businesses can operate at full capacity. Restrictions at gyms and amusement parks will be lifted. Conventions, sporting events, fairs, and festivals may also resume. Of course, many of those events have already been canceled. The guidelines and the timeline could always change, and Governor Eric Holcomb is scheduled to issue an important update tomorrow. The World Health Organization says that the worst is yet to come from the coronavirus. Infections are on the rise in 32 states. Some there are reissuing restrictions. ABC's Andrea Fujii has all the details.
This morning, 36,000 new coronavirus cases reported across the country, leading states and cities to take even more drastic action to try and curb the spread. In California, bars shut down in 7 counties, including Los Angeles County, where cases hit more than 100,000. And now the decision to close beaches there this 4th of July holiday. And in nearby Riverside County, hospital ICUs are 99% full. In Houston, paramedics working around the clock.
In the last couple days, we've doubled and tripled our call volume.
Field hospitals now being prepped in Austin, where they've surpassed 70% hospital capacity.
We shouldn't have launched the reopening until we had testing and tracing in a better place. So we started too soon.
At this Planet Fitness in West Virginia, officials are warning more than 200 patrons may have been exposed. Hospitalizations have climbed for 15 days in Florida. Starting this morning, masks are required in Miami and Jacksonville, where the Republican National Convention is scheduled to be held in August. And there's growing backlash after mayors announced beach closures for the 4th of July in Florida's biggest counties.
We're all in this together now, and we will get through it.
In Arizona, with only 13% of ICU beds available in the entire state, the governor rolling back reopening of bars, gyms, and movie theaters and prohibiting large gatherings. Despite low numbers in New York and New Jersey, both governors say they may pause restarting indoor dining after seeing what's happening in other states.
Our reopenings have worked very well. We're not going backwards, we're going forwards.
AMC theaters now say they won't open their theaters until the end of July because film companies have postponed release dates of 2 anticipated blockbusters. Andrea Fujii, ABC News, New York.
All right, thank you. It's been a stormy morning here across central Indiana. The thunder may have woken you up, or maybe it was just the heavy rainfall. 3.23 inches of rain fell at the National Weather Service this morning in just over an hour and a half. They got more rain in one slow-moving thunderstorm than they did so far this entire month. So it's really feast or famine with a lot of these storms across the area. Here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar, and you can see we have several areas of heavy rainfall, the heaviest of which is moving north through Hamilton County right now through Cicero and getting ready to push into Atlanta and Tipton County as you make your way up State Road 19 right into Tipton. The heaviest of this rain staying just to the east of US 31 if that's in your travel plan. So 31 is not being impacted as much. And then as you slide a little further off towards the west, you notice these cells over towards Frankfort, they flare up and then they kind of fizzle out. So you'll hear some thunder at times across the area, but no severe weather is expected. But look at all that heavy rainfall in the St. Louis area, and all this will be making its way through the area at times today. It's extremely muggy once again with high temperatures that will be in the mid 80s. And then going forward in this forecast, Storm Shield will be a great tool to have. While I'm not anticipating severe weather, you could use it for the interactive radar. So if you're on a walk, you can pop it up, see if the storm's heading in your direction or not. As we go throughout the next couple days, rain chances will decrease by the holiday weekend. More on that coming up in just a few minutes. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. A community is mourning the loss of a teenager who died when the car she was in veered into a pond. Now neighbors are pushing for action, why they say that curve is dangerous and what they want done to fix it. It's 5:13. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The Genetic Detective tonight on ABC.
Welcome back. Neighbors and community members are calling for change after a crash on the southeast side of Indianapolis killed a Franklin Central High School student. 16-year-old Ella Major died after she was in a car and it went off the road on Fry Road into a retention pond. That happened Saturday night. Another teen was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Witnesses told firefighters they saw the car going fast when it went off the road, hit a tree, and then went into the pond. Neighbors say the curve is dangerous and they want to see it fixed.
We'll come flying around the curve. It's kind of a blind spot where all the bushes are on the other side of the road, so you can't always see when people are coming.
Well, they have started an online petition for guardrails to be installed around the curve. Others say that an increase in police presence would also help. At 517, Duke Energy, IPL, and 8 other electric and gas companies in Indiana will not be allowed to charge you for electricity that you did not use amid the pandemic. The Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission unanimously denied a request from the companies asking for permission to recover revenue shortfalls. The IURC also ruled that the disconnection suspension should be extended through August 14th. They claim things like government orders, businesses closing, and remote working have significantly reduced revenues for some utilities. As we mentioned earlier, AMC Theaters is pushing back their reopening day due to a surge in COVID-19 cases across the U.S. The movie chain was supposed to open on July 15th, but Hollywood's upcoming releases were pushed back to the middle of August. That includes Disney's Mulan and Christopher Nolan's Tenet. The AMC says that it now expects to open 450 of its 600 theaters on July 30th. They hope to be fully operational sometime in August. Other aspects of entertainment are also still hurting due to the pandemic. Cirque du Soleil is filing for bankruptcy in both the U.S. and Canada. The head of the company says it's the only way to protect their business there. We'll have more on that story coming up. Amazon is announcing bonuses for its employees after criticism for its plan to end coronavirus-related hazard pay. Amazon says it's giving out $500 million in bonuses to its frontline workers. The bonuses will be distributed to Amazon and Whole Foods employees, as well as delivery drivers who worked at the month of June. At the beginning of the month, Amazon ended its $2 an hour pay increase and double overtime pay that has been in place since the spring. The time right now is 5:19. Todd, yesterday we had several rumbles of thunder down at my house, but no rain until the late hours. So, of course, I watered my plants because I just knew if I didn't water them, we probably wouldn't have gotten any rain.
Yeah, you know, those thunderstorms kind of flare it up. And the thing with these storms is they're just moving very, very slow. I know I was going to get on my bike and bike the Mona, and I saw that one flaring up near Speedway, and I better stay indoors because I could hear the thunder. And that's the thing. If you hear thunder, that storm is close enough to cause some damage with lightning strikes. So that's why I decided to pause my bike ride until later in the afternoon. That's what you need to do so as well, whether you're on a bike ride or walk or at the pool. So we have one heavier shower or thunderstorm that's out there right now. And we're just starting to pick up on our storm marker there that this storm is producing a little bit of hail just north of Cicero up towards Atlanta, Indiana. As you make your way towards Tipton, you see the lightning strikes as well. So this is producing some heavy rainfall at Morse Reservoir right now. Noblesville basically done with the heaviest of the rain. And a couple of these cells have produced some small pea-sized hail. The one at the National Weather Service did this morning as well, where they picked up over 3 inches of rain in a short period of time. This storm has weakened in Boone County as well as Clinton County over towards Thorntown. Basically just some rain there now, no lightning, and some light rain as you work your way down towards Martinsville over towards Franklin. But look at all this rain near St. Louis and into southern Illinois, and this is all going to be kind of sliding in our direction throughout the course of the day. So we're going to continue to have showers and storms in the forecast during all day parts today. So you need to have the umbrella handy. I don't know if you need to have it carried. I don't know if you need to carry it around with you all day long. But certainly have it in the car in case you are running errands and you get stuck in one of these downpours. Not expecting severe weather again today, but again, some small hail, some lightning, and some gusty winds will be possible with some of these storms. Very muggy and warm again this morning, 60s and 70s across the area throughout the day today. We'll see our temperatures eventually climb up into the 80s. Depends where you are. If you don't see much in the way of rain today, you're probably closer to 90 degrees. Everybody else is probably in the mid-80s for high temperatures. Tomorrow, the rain chances drop from be about 70% chance today to eventually about a 40% chance tomorrow. And then as we continue throughout the Thursday and into the holiday weekend, rain chances will continue to come down. So today's probably the wettest day remaining in your 7-day planning forecast. As we work our way closer to the 4th of July itself, look at the heat though, back up to right around 90 degrees Thursday all the way through Monday of next week. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a live look right now from our traffic camera out here to our east, I-70 near Midhofer Road. You can see traffic is moving along up to speed there this morning. No delays to slow you down. Of course, we'll keep a close eye on traffic throughout your morning commute, and we'll keep you updated on any issues. So scientists are getting creative to learn a little bit more about nature, how this sloth bot is helping them save a rare species. Coming up after the break.
Exceptional care, simply delivered.
Welcome back. Scientists have created their own creature to help them study nature. It's called Slothbot. The strange robot is being tested at the Atlanta Botanical Gardens to study things unseen in the wild. It's designed to hang out in the trees and it's solar powered. Scientists can get data about the climate, and video from the robot can help protect rare species and ecosystems. They say its sloth-like speed allows it to observe things that can only be seen over long periods of time. Pretty creative there. All right, Todd, let's get a check of our forecast on this Tuesday. It's going to be a humid one again, right?
Yeah, speaking of slow moving, Lauren, a lot of these storms in this very warm and humid air mass that you mentioned are moving very, very slow. So we've been running into some flooding issues across parts of the area. Most of the heavy rain has come to an end with the exception of this one storm that continues to slowly make its way through northern Hamilton County, pushing up into Tipton County, Arcadia. As you work your way up to Atlanta, into the Tipton area, you see the lightning strikes, and you also have that storm producing a little bit of hail. That's the strongest storm we have in the area right now, but there are additional storms off to our west as we go throughout the day. Today, have the umbrella handy. We'll deal with these storms off and on. Not expecting severe weather, though, with high temperatures close to 90 degrees. We'll talk more about the storms and have your latest news headlines and traffic coming up when you join us at 5:30 as Good Morning Indiana continues on this Tuesday morning.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
A canal is a place where families and kids spend time during the day, but after dark, it can be a different story. Now at 5:30, why some downtown residents say they don't feel safe in that area once the sun goes down.
And this morning, keep it or change it. We return to a vibrant business district to see if they want the streets reopened, which were closed to allow for outdoor dining. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Indiana. It is Tuesday, June the 30th. Lauren, as I stepped outside of my Franklin home, a light rain, less humid than yesterday.
Okay, well, if you look down below me here in the box, you just saw a flash of lightning. So, Raphael, we're still dealing with even some storms around the area. Yeah. So, Todd, you're going to break down what we can expect and what we can see on the radar right now. It's still an active morning.
Yeah, you know, we've been dealing with these storms. Nothing severe, thankfully. Obviously, lightning makes every thunderstorm dangerous. And we've had some reports of some small hail in some of these cells as they've been slowly making their way through central Indiana. We have one lone thunderstorm out there that's producing a lot of lightning, and that is to the north of Indianapolis. But this is the same cell that started in Indianapolis and then made its way slowly through Marion County, now into northern portions of Hamilton County, Noblesville, Cicero, State Road 19 being hit pretty much the hardest with the heavy rainfall and all that lightning. And then as you get up into the Tipton area, some lightning strikes there. This cell has produced a little bit of pea-sized hail, so you could see that or hear that if you live in that area. This storm is kind of collapsing and weakening. Colfax down to Thorntown, some pretty good rain, some light rain along I-65, and then it's just some scattered light rain showers, as Raphael mentioned, down in Franklin. I'm going to draw this yellow line because you could see the storms to the north of this yellow line are heading in that northerly direction. To the south of that yellow line, they're kind of dropping down to the south as this weak area of low pressure is just kind of sitting on top of us, and it's just going to remain pretty unsettled throughout the day. There's more rain off to our west. That's not necessarily all going to make its way into central Indiana, but we'll keep the threat of rain in the forecast almost through all day parts here for the day today, with high temperatures that'll range anywhere from 85 to 90 degrees. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic for your commute. This is a look on the north side where we were monitoring one incident. It looks like we still have the police officer at the scene and a wrecker is now at the scene to remove that vehicle from the travel lanes here on 465 near Keystone Avenue. Traffic is not being slowed by this at all. It's still pretty quiet there this morning. So let's take another live look. This is from our INDOT traffic camera on the southwest side of town where traffic is picking up on the interstate I-465 near Kentucky Avenue. Everything's traveling smoothly though, so we'll continue continue to monitor your roads throughout your Tuesday and keep you updated. But new this morning, Metro Police are investigating 2 shootings from the overnight hours. The latest round of gunfire happening just before 1 o'clock this morning near East 10th Street and North Grant Avenue. The victim says he was walking down 10th Street when shots were fired from a passing vehicle. Police on scene tell us the victim was taken to the hospital in serious condition. Less than an hour earlier, officers were called to 28th and Sherman for a person shot. The victim in this case says that he was standing on his front porch. The victim claims he was shot when he turned to go inside the home. He was taken to the hospital and is expected to survive. Right now, police are trying to figure out if the shootings are connected. And we are learning more about a deadly shooting, Raphael, that we first brought you as breaking news here on Good Morning Indiana yesterday. A 14-year-old was killed after he was trying to rob someone on the Canal walk at 2 a.m. Monday. The shooter told police that he fired in self-defense.
And so, Lauren, this morning we are focusing on the area where that shooting happened. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning. And Kelsey, one resident telling you that the canal isn't so safe once the sun sets. Good morning to you, and fill us in.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So yeah, we talked to a woman who lives near the canal. She says she spends most of her days out here walking with her dog and her family, but she says as soon as the sun sets, she no longer feels safe and she stays inside. That danger proving last night in the early morning hour, or excuse me, on Monday morning when 14-year-old Curtis White was shot and killed. Police say the teen tried to rob someone and that person shot White in self-defense. The alleged shooter, along with witnesses, are giving police information to help them get a better understanding of what happened. Taylor Goen says incidents like this one make her nervous.
When it's dark, we don't stay outside, which is unfortunate because the canal has some really pretty places, where you can be outside at night, but it's just not safe.
We did ask Metro police officers how often they'd make calls to the canal for violence. They have not been able to give us those numbers back just yet. We also know that no arrests have been made in this incident. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
This is addressing issues that are happening that are outside the will of God with all people, with police, with black on black crime, with white collar crime, you name it. We're coming against the core of it, which is evil.
Community leaders coming together for a prayer service on the city's northeast side. Their goal to hold similar services across the city. The time now is 5:36, and this time the group focused on the death of a 16-year-old girl who was killed by a stray bullet. We're talking about Naya May Cope. Her life was cut short on the corner of 38th and Arlington. Cope, as you may recall, was riding in a car with her family in the overnight hours of May the 3rd while a large crowd gathered in the Old Value City parking lot. Now, police believe a stray bullet from that area may have come from the crowd. Cope's death is one of the many that brought this drive-by prayer back to that very same lot last night.
Too much murder. Too many things are going on this side of town. And so the church has to rise up and start going out beyond the 4 walls of our churches and do what we say is going to bring deliverance, and that's prayer.
Next Monday, the group plans to pray at the corner of 71st and Michigan on Indy's northwest side. That is near the corner where Drejon Reed was shot and killed by a Metro police officer during a reported exchange of gunfire.
It is 5:36. We want to get to the latest developments now in the spread of the coronavirus across the United States. There are now more than 2.5 million COVID-19 cases reported in the U.S. and more than 125,000 deaths since the pandemic began. While some states are seeing a spike in cases, we want you to know Indiana has not. And as of now, state leaders are preparing to enter stage 5 on Saturday. As of this morning, 2,432 Hoosiers have died from COVID-19, with 5 more deaths reported on Monday. Except for a spike on Saturday, the daily increases have all been less than 10 over the past 6 days. 312 more Hoosiers have tested positive for that virus. Statewide, the number totals more than 45,200. Now here's a chart you might really find interesting. The ages of those who are testing positive. Look at the larger percentages in the age groups that are not traditionally considered high risk. Those are under the age of 65. The largest number of positive cases is actually in the 40 to 49 age group, followed closely by the 30 to 39 age group, then 50 to 59, and then 20 to 29.
So, Lauren, let's stay on this topic that follows a national trend of coronavirus infections increasing among younger people. So health experts say that people between the ages of 18 through 44 are being infected at a really high rate right now. One CDC official says he's worried that younger people are not taking this virus very seriously. He also says they are not as healthy as they think they may be, pointing out that the high rate of obesity in young people. Young adults are also at high risk of spreading it to those in high-risk populations. According to the CDC, although the risks rise with age, there is no clear age cutoff for higher or lower risks. The time now is 5:39, and areas of Mass Avenue, as you know, have been closed down for about a month, and now city leaders tell us they've received some positive feedback about the pedestrian-friendly setup.
So, Raphael, we want to know, is that street closure something that could be a permanent setup? Our Alyssa Donovan explains.
The closure has been great for some business owners, specifically restaurant owners, who have been able to spread their seating out into the streets. But for others, it's actually added to the struggle that started with the pandemic.
City leaders say initially there was a bit of an uproar about the closure of the major thoroughfare to traffic, but now they say that's changed. For restaurants like Mass Ave Pub, the street closure has allowed business to ramp back up. Owner Tracy Robertson says prior to the street closure, the pub was just offering carryout. Since adding the outdoor seating, Robertson says sales have tripled.
It was a game changer.
But she knows eliminating traffic and parking has not been as positive for some of her neighbors on the avenue. Down the street, owner of the shop Decorate says it's been hard for business having the streets closed. People can't get to her store. The mixed reaction of the street closure is why city leaders say many more conversations would have to happen for the closure to become any sort of permanent.
Possibility has been floated around to doing this full time. It's been floated that we do it just during the summer. It's been floated that we do it just on weekends. When we're not faced with a global pandemic, we'll be able to have very long, engaged conversations with not just city people, but with community people, with merchants.
I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Political leaders on both sides of the aisle are stressing the importance of wearing masks. That includes Republicans like Vice President Mike Pence and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. An assistant professor of psychology tells us seeing prominent political figures accept masks will influence individual decisions. Rodica Damian says there are two main sources of what drives behavior: personality and social context. Identifying with a certain political group adds social context.
A lot of people who don't wear masks think that they're not wearing masks because they're kind of independent thinking, but it's very likely that they're also following social norms. They're just following the social norms of a group that thinks you shouldn't wear masks.
Damien says we should remember across the country and across party lines, the majority of people are strongly in favor of wearing masks. The time right now is 5:41. We do want to get a check of our Storm Team 6 forecast. It's been a busy night here across central Indiana, Todd.
Yeah, you know, we've had these very slow-moving thunderstorms making their way through central Indiana, and we're continuing to do so. Here's a live look from downtown off to the east, and you can see the sky starting to brighten. And there's some breaks in the clouds, but off in the distance, you don't see it right now, but there's been some lightning strikes as well. And we'll continue to deal with these scattered showers and storms really off and on throughout the entire day. Storm Team 6 radar currently is showing you the heaviest of the thunderstorm activity is to the north up in the Noblesville area. And as we go throughout the course of the morning, this storm has just been slowly making its way out of Hamilton County now up into Tipton County. It's the same cell that came through downtown Indianapolis. You notice the lightning starting to tail off a little bit this morning, but still some heavy rainfall. If you're heading to the pool, it's going to be warm, it's going to be muggy, it's a good place to be. But just know as soon as you hear a thunder or you see any lightning, please seek seek shelter from the water and the lightning that could accompany some of these storms. Highs today into the mid-80s. We'll talk more about your extended forecast and look ahead to the 4th of July as well, coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you. The former Minneapolis police officers charged in the death of George Floyd appeared in court Monday. Straight ahead, the latest on the case, including why both prosecutors and defense attorneys say it could be hard to get a fair trial. That story and much more coming up right here on Good Morning, Indiana.
Your medicine. AbbVie may be able to help.
It is 5:46. 4 former Minneapolis police officers charged in George Floyd's death appeared in court on Monday.
And Lauren, we're talking about 4 men, Derek Chauvin, Alexander King, Thomas Lane, and Officer Tutau, all facing multiple charges in Floyd's May 25th death. Let me take you inside the courtroom. Much of Monday's hearing a focus on public comments that have been made about the state's investigation. The judge warned all parties to stop talking about the case publicly and threatened a gag order or a possible change of venue for the trials. Both sides say they believe it will be hard to get a fair trial.
I find it ironic that the Attorney General's office and the rest of the public officials who've been commenting publicly on this case and leaking sensitive information now want to keep the trial not open to the public.
I walk in the courthouse and there's a courtroom full of white old men, and it's going to be hard for my nephew to get a fair trial.
I think my nephew case is going to be a fight. This is going to be a heavy fight. I see it right away. It's going to be a fight.
Chauvin and Tao remain in custody. Lane and King have been released on conditional bond. The next court appearance is set for September with a tentative trial date set for March 8th of 2021.
Well, protests continue in Louisville over the police shooting death of Breonna Taylor. The 26-year-old was shot and killed while she was sleeping in her home after police obtained a no-knock warrant for a drug investigation. Monday, protesters blocked the Clark Memorial Bridge between Louisville and southern Indiana. The highway shutdown lasted about 3 hours, with Louisville police working with Indiana officials to break up the demonstration. Protesters have been calling for the arrest of the officers involved in Taylor's death, among other demands. Earlier this month, the Louisville City Council voted unanimously to ban no-knock search warrants and named the ordinance Breonna's Law.
The time now is 5:48 here on Good Morning Indiana. 8 Republican lawmakers were briefed on Monday about that intelligence that Russia put bounties on U.S. troops to get Taliban forces to kill them in Afghanistan. Well, today, Democrats will be briefed on that same plot. The White House continues to deny that top White House officials knew about this bounty. But a former CIA officer who has conducted presidential daily briefings says it is highly unlikely that the president was not briefed on the matter. 20 Americans were killed in combat last year in Afghanistan, but there is no word if any of the killings were under suspicion. The time now is 5:49. Time to check your forecast. It is a busy one for Todd Clausen, who is keeping a close eye on that radar.
Yeah, you know what's tough about the forecast today, Raphael, is these storms are just very slow moving, and then they flare up pretty quickly, and it's not like there's a line of storms coming through that we can really time out for you, saying that there's the chance of storms between such and such an hour. It's basically the threat of storms at any point throughout the day today, as we're all in this very warm and muggy air mass. This storm finally starting to fall apart. This storm started in Indianapolis and slowly made its way north through Marion County into Hamilton County. Now some heavy rain up in Tipton County, in the Tipton area. The lightning strikes have fallen off, though, and we're not picking up the hail markers anymore, but still some very heavy rainfall there in Westfield over towards Sheridan, up towards Tipton. Some lighter showers up here towards Thorntown, and then we'll slide to the north, and we have a heavier storm that's just now making its way into the Logansport area with quite a bit of lightning. None of these storms are severe, not really expecting severe weather throughout the day today, but definitely some heavy rainfall rainfall could produce localized flooding, and the lightning makes every thunderstorm dangerous. Some heavier rain in southern Illinois. Some of this will pinwheel into central Indiana throughout the course of the day today. And the bottom line is you just really need to have that umbrella handy throughout the day today. There's definitely dry hours. There's definitely opportunities for you to get to the pool, to maybe get a walk or a run in or a bike ride and things like that. But you always need to stay weather aware throughout the day today. So the Storm Shield app is a great app to have. It's completely free. And even if there's no warnings, which it will alert you to, there is an interactive radar so you can kind of plan out your walks and see what's going on before you walk out the door. Temperature-wise, we're in the 60s and 70s this morning. It's really muggy out there still across the area. As we go throughout the day today, temperatures will range anywhere from about 85 to 90 degrees. Those of you that see less in the way of rainfall, you're closer to 90. If you see more in the way of clouds and some rain, you're probably closer to that 85-degree number. Now, tomorrow, still some storm chances in the forecast, but as the day progresses, the storm chances should start to diminish as we start to see a wind shift take place across the area. So tomorrow, the rain chances are a little bit lower than today, but still present. And then as we finally get into the 4th of July weekend, the transition really happens on Thursday, as we'll keep it very warm with highs right around 90 degrees and about a 20% chance of storms in the forecast. But 20% chance is just a stray storm here or there. So you really, I don't think, need to worry about the storms. If you have plans for this holiday weekend, I think it's more of an issue with the heat, especially if you're outside grilling or going to some barbecues and things like that. So your 7-day planning forecast starts off a little wet, gets a little drier, but the one thing that does remain pretty consistent here throughout the next 7 days is high temperatures will be remaining above normal. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic for your commute. This is I-465 and Kentucky Avenue on the southwest side, where it looks like we have a police car on the scene and a vehicle there. It looks like maybe into that median, and we have some people out there walking with flashlights. So just use caution as you head through that area and watch for any people walking on the side of the road. They are in the shoulder, so the travel lanes remain open. We also have a crash right now at 38th and Moeller on the northwest side. No injuries to report at that location. At 5:52, Netflix has unveiled plans for a 6-part drama about Colin Kaepernick. Colin, in black and white, will focus on the former NFL quarterback's early years and the show experiences and insights that led to his activism. Kaepernick famously began kneeling during the national anthem to protest racial injustice back in 2016. He was advised that kneeling was more respectful than sitting on the bench by former Navy SEAL and Seattle Seahawk Nate Boyer. Kaepernick's kneeling has kept him out of the league since 2017. Emmy-winning director Ava DuVernay is producing this series. A release date has yet to be announced.
A trio of hiking dogs in Nevada gaining a large following on social media thanks to their fearlessness and, of course, yes, their fashion sense. After the break, how their stylish outfits also serve as safety wear. That story and more next, right here on RTV6.
Up the power of liquid with new Tide Power Pods.
A trio of...
So, Lauren, I think the producers are conspiring with Mrs. Sanchez because she wants a dog. And so here we go. A trio of adventurous hiking pups has gained quite the following for their fearlessness and, of course, their fashion sense. And Mrs. Sanchez, no dogs. But go ahead, Lauren.
Okay. Well, sorry, I almost jumped on you there, Raphael. Well, Tim Livesey and his Australian cattle dogs hiked the trails of southern Nevada. We're talking about Bolt, Bonnie, and Bella. They're known for their signature goggles. The specs help protect them from sun and other elements out there, so it makes the pack pretty easy to spot on the trails. Their owner says they actually like them because once the goggles come out, they know it's adventure time.
They're cute.
Oh my gosh, those are cute. So funny. Well, Todd, if anyone's going hiking this week around southern Indiana, central Indiana, they'll need to stay hydrated because it's going to be really hot out there.
Yeah, you know, drink plenty of water. You don't really realize it or think about it until you're out on the trail, and then you wish you had more in the way of water to hydrate yourself. So definitely need to have the water with the heat and humidity. Also, if you are going to be outdoors, no matter what you're doing, just know that there are thunderstorms in the forecast off and on throughout the day today. Not expecting severe weather, but obviously lightning makes all these storms dangerous. There's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar. We'll dive into your forecast in more detail coming up as we start the 6 o'clock hour of Good Morning Indiana in just a few minutes.